Let's see if we can find you.
Yeah.
Long time back, August of 2019.
There we go.
That's crazy. Well, I'm super psyched for you. I'm so happy. Like this is gonna be
I'm very happy.
let me just go and double check the stream, and then what'll happen is you'll start talking. I'm gonna take way too many notes, and then we'll see what happens. Let me go ahead and reorganize this a bit. I want to move this over that. Nope, we're gonna get there eventually. It's such a shit show. This like,
See, haven't used Be Live. I use Zoom.
yeah, it usually like turns out a lot better. But all right, whatever. What are we calling this sucker, by the way? Like your 6-month journey to 10K, 6-week journey, like because it only happened like the past 6 weeks, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I just broke 10,000 last night for this month.
That's so cool. For this month, June.
Yeah.
Yo, that's $20,000 a month.
No, yes, I know. I've been thinking that one.
So how I broke $10,000. How long have you been doing this like cohort of work? Like 6 weeks?
Yeah.
In 6 weeks.
Actually, yeah, 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah, because I've only spent like $300 in ad spend.
With $300 in ad spend. Damn.
Yeah. The ROI is pretty astounding.
That's so cool. I think what we should do is we should chop this baby up into chapters. Let's start when you joined. Well, actually, let's do this. Let's not start from when you joined. Let's just start from this point and start moving backwards with like your most recent cohort of the past 5 weeks or so. So like, how'd you go from 0 to 10K in 5 weeks? Because everything up to then was like brain trash or Corona or stuff was just breaking, right? Like we don't have to put that in here, right?
Right.
So, like, how did you go from 0 to 10K in 5 weeks?
Well, the simple explanation is I even through everything, I've kept my cold email and LinkedIn going. So his prospecting engine was going. But as soon as you started showing the new things that you were doing, I literally watched every one of your lives, freeze framed it, went to and modeled everything on the previous niche I was in, which is not Corona friendly. So I set it all up with that and started running ads, and they just started working like in 12 hours. So it was being diligent, getting back to everyone, coming up with the offer and increasing my prices. I mean, that's the thing is, you know, when I first started the IC, you were at 2,900. Well, my brain couldn't wrap around that. My first client was 500 to me and 500 in ad spend, which is really ridiculous. But yep. So I worked the numbers in the spreadsheet to figure out what I could do, what number I was happy with. And then probably about 6 demos in, I raised it another $200. So I felt that was a little bit more flexible. And it just took off. And then, you know, there was a whole lot of delay. I went through a lot of people, qual calls and stuff because of that, like I said, was not Corona friendly. Mm-hmm. And then I found some people that actually were running businesses that were, even though this was happening, they knew they had to advertise. And I closed 3 in one day, 2 a couple of days left, just a few days later. So I have 6 clients in that niche right now. And I put those ads on pause because of until July when Corona's kind of, you know, in the back rearview mirror.
Yeah.
And so I spent a weekend on Angie's List, what is it, Home Advisor and Thumbtack and Google Trends to find a new niche that would work, that was Corona friendly. And I literally started with a blank high-level snapshot, which I would never do again. And basically modeled what you were doing and launched, and it has been nonstop since. So with just over $200 in ad spend, I've closed $4,000 worth of clients. And it looks like I've got about 6 more that'll be ready to go in the next few weeks.
The next few weeks. All right, let me just quickly summarize because I think this is like really, really cool. Before you went on this most recent cohort, you were at $500 a month management fee.
Well, that was before I joined the IC. Yeah. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Pre-IC. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So I was sticking right around 1500, 1600 was kind of all my brain. It was really hard for me to get to 1900.
Yeah.
And I finally said, okay, shut up. If people really, this is an investment in their business. I work with real estate agents, which they don't like to spend money. So I decided to pivot to someone who knows they need to spend money. They have payroll to pay, and expenses are part of doing business. And I've never looked back.
So let me go ahead and put that line on the chart, because you're originally doing real estate agents at 500 a month.
Yeah.
And it sucked.
It sucked big time. I mean, even though you deliver, they just don't want to pay any more money.
Yep.
They don't want to pay money. Yep. If they don't get a house closing in the first week, they think it's not working.
Yeah.
And, so they don't want to spend money. So my deal was, okay, I need someone who's used to spending money, and they have payroll. If they have payroll, they know they have to make money. They have expenses. And those people know how they have to market.
Right. They have to market. And to discover your new niche, you simply went to Angie's List and Home Advisor. And what happened when you went there?
I was learning about different things, home services type thing that, we're all stuck in our house for 3 months. So, things break. You decide you don't like it. You need new carpet. There's just all the things that revolve around that people are going to need, emergency things. And then I combine that with Google Trends to see where it was. Now, both of these niches that I'm working in, the one that I've cocooned for another month and the one I'm working in now, are both 75% higher on Google Trends consistently across the course of a year. So, these are like evergreen industries. So I'm like keeping them secret. Yeah. Because I haven't heard anybody speaking about either of these. So I'm like,
so I've seen your ads, and they're normal, right? They're not like the most amazing thing in the world. Your offer isn't, oh my God, blow you out of the water. You just said, hey, if my market isn't working, if my offer isn't working, if my message isn't working, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to change it. Yeah. So instead of, and tell me if I'm wrong here, instead of just banging your head against the wall saying, oh my God, why isn't this working? You said, why don't I move to something that is already working? Yeah. You went on Angie's List, got that confirmation from Google Trends. You're like, yo, everybody else in the world is doing this, searching for this, and wanting this. How about I start providing it? Is that about right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
As you thought, right?
Yeah. And both of these industries, one I really knew nothing about. One I knew some about because I'd done a bit of it in the past. So it was just learning more. And I went into the first week I opened my calendar after the first weekend of ads, and I'm only doing $15 a day, right? And I load a new ad every week. And one of my ads is actually a fake product, and it's only been pointed out by one guy one time. And I've got like 90 comments on this ad, all good, people interested in that sort of thing. And this guy said something about, well, everybody could tell that's fake. And I said, yeah, but it got your attention, right?
Yep.
His reply was, yeah, it did.
Beautiful. That's so cool. So you jumped on a Google Trend, you started running ads, but you're based out of Spain, which was on full lockdown. Did you have anybody responding to your ad saying, oh my God, there's no way I would ever pay somebody halfway around the world. I would never do it, nothing like that. Or was it really no big deal?
You know what? For the most part, I've always hidden the fact that I'm here. I just I make sure I only open my calendar from 2 to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Right. So anybody in the morning can book on it. But I decided with all this going on, with everybody working from home and remotes being the big thing, I just tell them, but I don't tell them until the demo because it's not important. It's when we have the rapport conversation, and it always opens up, really, what part of Spain? Oh, I remember this great trip to Barcelona. Oh, I love Europe. It's just, they've got no blowback on it at all.
It's not like they don't care. It's more like, oh, that's just an interesting fact. You're from Spain. I'm from Northern Massachusetts. Great. Who cares? Let's keep moving forward, right?
Yeah. I'm from North Carolina. I happen to live in Europe. So, it's not an issue at all.
Perfect. So you got full on Corona paused. Everything went to hell. You said, I'm going to jump on Google Trends, see what people are buying, what they are selling, and I'll start running ads, targeting clients of saying, hey, do you want this direct offer? Right. And your direct offer sticks with the standard template of, do you want X thing for your business in X amount of time or something like, do you want 20, 30 customer opportunities or clients or sales for your business? Right.
Exactly.
Not too difficult. Just copy and paste it.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And I did meme ads, which tanked.
Yep.
You know, they do. I've done the no like and trust video, which it's testing now. Yeah, I mean, so I'm just basically, if you've done it, I've changed it to my industry and I'm doing it. And
Perfect.
you know, it's working.
And when you did your qual calls, right? Were they like super aggressive and angry? Like, how could you ask me how many clients I have and how much you charge me? Or was it like normal information that you would come with a conversation?
Yeah, it just was a normal conversation. I've never had someone do like that guy did to you. I don't know you. You know, what are you asking me for?
Yeah.
I asked just the standard like 3 questions on my qual calls. I get them to talking, and I know that there was one asshole that was really, really nice, and then but he's like, boom, money. How much is it? You know, and so he cut right in, and he goes, okay, fine. I want to see your system. So, and he showed on the demo, and that wasn't a shocker. I mean, you know, but I've only had a couple of people that either ghosted me or, you know, they flat out said, no, I'm not paying for marketing. Well, then why did you fill out the form on my ad? Right.
But that is like a huge minority, right? Like you don't even put a lot of brain power. Like 1 out of 10 people are going to hate me no matter what. That's cool. Right.
Yeah.
Very
cool.
Know,
I've had a lot of really great conversations. Like I said, the first week after running the ads, I had, I think, 23 qual calls that week. And my whole theory the first 2 days was I don't give a shit if I book one demo. I need to learn. And I learned a lot of their lingo. Now I know what the stuff is. I understand it. But do I know what they call it within themselves? So getting their tribal language, as you say, you know, and just getting connected to them. And it just, I still book demos the couple of days that I figured, okay, if I blow the qual call, that's fine. I just need to learn what I need to say. And, you know, by like the 3rd or 4th call, it's rocking and rolling. And then I book demos. And the guy that I sold for $3,000 on Thursday, who paid on Thursday, he was a comment on my ad. He didn't actually fill out the form. And get this, the reason I got him is he couldn't get Zoom to work on his computer. So he goes downstairs to his wife's office. She's an IT geek, right? So we sit here, they're in their recliners, their office chairs just kind of leaned back, you know, they're both on either side of the screen and we're chit-chatting, and I have no clue if they're going to close or not, right? Yeah. He's enthusiastic, but he's like an idea guy. Boom, boom, boom. And so his wife looks at him and goes, I like her. Now they're testing, they're getting like, they have 3 proposals. They have 1 more meeting after me. And so after she said that, I said, so am I in the running?
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, you're in the running. So this was like 11 p.m. my time. They're in California. So, and they know I'm here. So they're like, okay, we'll get back to you. An hour and a half later, I'm in bed and I get a text saying you won the beauty contest. And they paid the next day because, I mean, I'm like, it was a conversation. I never showed them a slide deck, didn't talk bonuses, nothing. I mean, it was just a conversation, and I've never had a demo go like that.
And that conversation worked really well because you did the qual calls and you demoed before, and like you did like the first shaky 5 demos, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the time after that, you're like, look, I know how they talk, I know how they think. I'm using the same words that they use to describe their problems, but I'm using them from my mouth. And now it's like, oh, she gets it. She's part of the industry, and she just runs ads to get our phone calls or something like that. And it really wasn't that hard, but it wasn't hard because you've done the qual calls and the demos for other people before, right?
Right. I mean, the thing was just getting to the point where I could speak through the qual call without sounding like an idiot.
Yeah.
So, and I have one Google slide. I've got 2 screens. So my small screen, I keep a Google slide that just has my questions on it and leads to the demo. So if I ever find myself, some of them will start talking, you know, but some are not hugely talkative. So I go through my questions and then I ask for the demo if I think it's something they can do. But I keep that on my screen just in case conversation goes and I get lost.
In case your brain goes to shit for some reason.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And the other thing's been really awesome last week is one thing that this industry is doing is they're asking me pay per lead.
Yep.
And so first off, I went, no, we don't do that. And enough, I did that once. And then I'm like, you know what, my team's working on that and we should be launching that next week. Do you want me to call you back when we're ready with that? I get absolutely. Okay, perfect. So I just sit down with a spreadsheet and I did the numbers and I'm like, oh, hell yeah, we can do this. So one of the guys I closed last week is a pay per lead, and I've worked it out where they pay me a setup fee, which will give me about 2 weeks of ad spend to test and see what works in their area. And then they start paying me per lead. And I'm using the high level one-time stripe to hit them every time one comes through. So I'm setting them up like a regular client. They'll have a high level account for follow-up and all of that. And, but yeah, I mean, the setup fee gives me the ad spend to get started on. So I'm not out of pocket any of it.
Beautiful. So just to be clear, we usually do like $2,000 flat rate. Mm-hmm. We guarantee, let's just say 30 like phone calls or something like that. And your guy is saying, no, we only want to do pay per lead. And most agency owners would be like, can't happen. No way. Peace out. Goodbye. And you said, our team's working on that. Can I call you next week and see if we make sense? They said, yes. Yeah. You turn around and you say, all right, well, 30 times 30. Okay, that could work. 30 times 60. Oh, I make the same amount of money anyway, right?
Yeah.
You said
it's more in my pocket.
Say again?
It's more in my pocket. Yeah. And so when I thought about the setup fee, I'm like, okay, so yes, I have cash flow now. I mean, I've had months where I didn't have cash flow and I have cash flow now. I could just run the ads, but I'm like, well, that whole skin in the game thing. So it's worth it asking, you know, I say, okay, here's my system. We have a setup fee and then it's this much per lead. And it's like, okay. So now I get my ad spend and then I just start running the ads.
Beautiful.
So I'm not out of pocket at all. And I've, with a couple of members of the IC, I've shared the spreadsheet. You just work the numbers. You can, if you can work it out in your head, technically how to do it, the numbers are there.
So let me fill in the blank, and I don't want you to share anything you don't want to share. But as an example, let's just say like it's $2,000 a month for 30 phone calls for a pest control business. I'm going to go ahead and do the math and say 2,000 divided by 30. That's $66 per phone call. If the guy is saying, yo, Jeff, I only do pay per lead, and I'm like, great, how much do you pay per lead? He's like, $66. I'm like, that's the same fucking thing, right? It's the same exact thing. It's just different ways of talking about the same exact dollars. And that's exactly what you did, right?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Now, the difference is I talking to different people, I know I can charge, say, 55 in Texas and 150 in Florida. So kind of not mentioning the numbers until you talk to them. And you know, and the thing is like, nobody else is getting this lead. This is not like 5 or 10 other companies are getting this lead. This lead is yours. So now the value of the lead is even higher.
Gotcha. So
and I just can't stress the setup fee as well, you know, for the ad spend to start with.
Yeah, because that way it's skin in the game and you're not like putting money out of your pocket. And effectively like the 2 weeks is that trial to see what would happen, and then you're good, right?
Right.
Do you see with your specific industry moving to pay per lead? Or are you going to try to stick with a flat rate, or it doesn't really matter to you?
When I work the numbers, it doesn't matter to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, and this is the first industry that I've started at 2,300, and now I'm going no less than 2,400 because I've got a white labeler now. And I want for the monthly ones and maybe the pay per lead, depending on what number I throw out there, they'll go to him as well. So that'll give me enough flexibility to have good ad spend, because I need more than $500 ad spend just from the research I've done. I need at least 750, if not 900. So I'm playing with the ad spend and see 2,400 works for me to pay a higher ad spend, make it worth my while, and pay the white labeler.
Beautiful. So let me ask you a couple more questions. The first is, what was the biggest thing that stopped you from increasing your prices for 500 or 2,000? It was just your brain being shitty to you, right?
Yep, exactly. And well, I think the other thing is remember I said it was in real estate? Well, they never want to spend any money. So I didn't really have experience with any business outside of real estate. So everything is a price conscious thing. You know, everybody says, no, I'm not spending that kind of money.
Yeah. So you're really coming in like you yourself were anchored really, really low. And that really stopped you from having money for ads, white label, and you had to just move markets and move industries and then explore a brand new price point, right? Now, let's just say, like, going back to where you're like, hey, I'm done with real estate. I'm going to do a brand new niche. Let's say you're entering into this niche. and you had to start all over again. Let's just say somebody was doing it. They're like, I'm used to charging 500. There's no way they could do it. What should they do to like break their brain? Is it just get on a lot of qual calls? Is it just start doing demos? Like what would break their brain in the right direction?
Well, I think if you have to do the numbers, and if the number that's always thrown out in the IC is 1,500, right? So you want to pocket $1,000. My theory is I want to be happy to be pocketing $800 to $1,000 a month, whether I'm running the ads or I'm giving it to a white labeler. If I'm doing that, I feel I've got enough. I feel comfortable enough doing all the customer service and someone else is doing the work. But I looked at 1,500 and I don't think you can afford to outsource for 1,500 because I'm not willing to do all of this for 500.
Yeah.
So my thought is when it comes to raising your rates, pick something that's comfortable for you. If you can't get your head past 1,500, start at 1,600. Start at 1,750. Slowly make your brain see people will pay that. I mean, if I started at 2,900, I can't sell it because I don't buy it.
Yep.
You know, but if I can buy 1,900, so in my previous niche, when I said I got 6 clients, the first few that came on were at 1,700.
Yeah.
I have one at 1,600. I'm almost losing money on her to outsource it.
Yeah.
But she's very happy and she renewed. And she's the type, she's going to give me referrals. So I'm going to keep that. But I immediately jumped to 1,900.
So all you did was after the first successful sale at 17, you just said, I'm going to increase my price to 1,900, right?
Exactly.
You just baby stepped your brain.
Yep.
Right. Did you?
And when I go back in July, I'm going to go up to 2,200 because I know we need more ad spend in certain areas. So baby step it. Yeah.
Did you find that some of your clients, like, I guess going back to real estate, like you were like, there's no way they would buy at 500. Now you're realizing the reason why people buy, they don't, has less to do with price and more about like whether you understand their language, if you have experience in the industry. Like it's not about the dollars anymore, right? Like it's about something else. And what is that something else, do you think?
Well, I think it's like you said, in these last 2 industries, I've actually had people saying, okay, you get what we're doing. You're not just a digital marketer. I can tell you understand our industry. And all it means is taking, you know, a freaking notebook and taking notes on every single call you make, listening to and I record everything, but it's listening to the words they use when you say, what services do you offer? Listen to how they say it. What are they saying? If they bundle them all together, what words are they using? And that was eye-opening. And like I said, I knew I was going to blow probably the first 5 to 10 qual calls because I didn't know, but I've gotten 92 leads for less than $300 out of an ad. I can blow 5 or 10 qual calls. So, and it didn't take that many to get the words out that I needed. So,
and that's like the craziest part. Like now when I'm doing my pest control qual calls and demos, I can say, look, German roach season is over. We're now talking termites and rats. Who the hell knows what that means? Yeah. I don't, but I've got a notepad on my computer that says some dude said, like, at the end of June or July, there's no more German roaches, and now there's termites and rats. And you know, depending upon your area, obviously New York has rats, but Seattle has rats too. And you know what Arizona has? Scorpions. Florida's full of cockroaches. And did you know there are some places that you can actually pay a guy to spider spray your screens?
Wow.
That's when my qual calls. Take notes, buddy. That's all you got to do, right?
Yeah.
And now when I'm doing, and you mentioned like geography, right? And now when I'm talking to somebody in like West Texas, I now know that they've got different pests than Georgia or Tennessee or something like that. I could have spent years Googling or spent 5 hours my qual calls.
Yeah,
right?
Just listen and make notes and pay attention. And exactly.
That's it. I signed a Seattle-based pest control company to turn around the proposal in 12 hours.
Wow.
And it's because I use the exclusive clause and the case study close. Are you doing anything like that? Or how, I guess my question is like, how are you mitigating you've never done it in my state or city or neighborhood before, or they don't really care?
I use exactly what you use. I've got a really high, but no case study, low, exclusive, but I really push exclusive territories. Yeah. And I do the 30 miles, except there's a few people that are like way out, like mid-America. And I'm like, if you can carry 50, I'll give you 50 because I don't have anybody in Nebraska.
Kansas or wherever, right?
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's
I am literally I took your slide deck and I just edited it with everything from wins, ads. I just customized the whole thing and it works.
How did you handle finding a white labeler, or you in the beginning you didn't? How did you deal with like keeping your prospecting engine on, your sales engine on, and your fulfillment engine on? Like, what was your thought process behind that?
Well, I knew I needed a white labeler, but I didn't. In the industry that I've cocooned right now, I didn't know anybody that could do it. So I was doing it myself. But it was hugely important because the last time I lost all my clients, not COVID, but like in November, I had 5 clients. Everything was going great. And I was a one-woman show, and I did no prospecting. So when these people left, all real estate, when these people left, I didn't have anything to go with. So it was starting all over again. And then all December, I got locked out of Facebook for 32 days.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah. And so by the time January came around, I got my accounts back. I've got a pipeline, and we're in a new marketing year. So I can't stop prospecting. So I have a VA that sends out 550 to 600 emails every day. But the biggest change has been the ads. So the fulfillment, I reached out to an inner circle member for that, for both industries. And it's the new industry I know is going to go fabulously. The other industry, those 6 clients, it's being a bit of a struggle because no one's done it, but it's working out. Like I said, I got my first renewal, so that was pretty cool. And one of the guys that canceled pre-COVID has just emailed me yesterday and wants to come back. So he'll come back at $200 more a month, but yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's how that works. Like,
yeah.
Tough, right? Looking back at you and your journey, where you are now versus where you were before, like, were there certain things that you're doing now that you weren't doing before? Like, you realize, God, if I just did this one thing differently, like, I'd be much further along. Like, I'd be June Marilyn in November. You know what I mean? Like, what's like that one thing, like going back to you 6 months ago, like do this one thing, you know what I mean?
I think mastering the ads. I did some ads, but I didn't do them. I didn't do the audience correct. I didn't niche down.
Yep.
So basically I was just, that spaghetti on the wall kind of thing. And I didn't do my own ads well. Yep. I could do real estate ads really well, but I didn't do my agency ads well. So I think picking a niche and doing the ads has been groundbreaking.
And when you say pick a niche, you literally just like, did you spend like years or months or weeks trying to figure it out? Or you said, oh, that one looks good, let's try.
I spent a weekend. I mean, it was, rugby's not on Saturdays anymore. So our sports is shot to shit during the lockdown. So what do? I just set up my computer. I had Google Trends open on one screen. I had Thumbtack, Angie's List and Home Advisor. And I just went, okay, show me something that's Corona friendly. And by the end of the weekend, I had a couple of options, and there was one I knew a little bit about, and I'm like, that's it. So I spent the next week pulling D7 lists as hard as I could, created my first audience, and started running ads. And I'm constantly pulling lists. Yeah. And Nick Nichols has done an amazing job pulling scrapes for me.
Nice.
And like every week, I'm adding new audience to the audience. So it's constantly growing.
That's so cool. So is it like, I don't know, one of the phrases that I have, if simple didn't work, you didn't make simple work. The answer is almost nothing more complicated. And that's what it was for you, right? Like you didn't know how to make simple work. And looking back, you're like, God, I just spent less than a day just kind of Googling and saying, okay, that could work. Maybe not so much. Applied some higher level thinking, turned on ads to an audience that you pulled from D7, and you got your first batch of like customer research qualification calls to see if you could understand and see if you want to take a next step. You did the demos anyway, just to get the shakes out of the system. Now you've got a proven process. You run ads to get clients, and you say, hey, do you want direct offer, 20, 30 customers, whatever it is? They sign up. And then what happens after they sign up? Are you doing the asshole text? Are you doing a qual text? Are you doing a qual call? Like, what does that look like as soon as they sign up?
As soon as they're lead in and they don't book on my calendar, they get the asshole text.
Yep.
And then they get a few forced calls if I can't connect them. And then the next day they get another text. And they go into my soap opera sequence, which is your soap opera sequence.
Perfect.
Customized for me.
Yeah.
Now, what I did do with the demo, and I have resisted having the onboarding questions on the screen and filling it out with them. And I just never really gone all the way through it before. We have our little rapport conversation and I go into the demo. What I've noticed is, because I thought it's redundant for my qual call questions if I go and ask them virtually the same questions with a little bit more depth.
Yeah.
I've only had 2 people in 3 months get pissy that I answered that last week.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? Well, I'm asking you again,
Yeah.
and I'm filling it out on the screen, right? So I find that doing those questions with the rapport conversation at the beginning sets the whole stage. It makes it, the rapport's there. And then going into the demo, it flows so much better. So I'm finally with this demo deck and I'm owning it.
Perfect. So they sign up, force calls, qual calls if you get on the phone. Some people are doing qual text now, whatever, no big deal. But you're definitely sending a text like, hey, do you want this thing? That's the asshole text, right?
Yes.
If yes, great, let's talk. If not, peace out, right?
Mm-hmm.
From there, you schedule a separate demo call, do the onboarding docs, and then you transition saying like, hey, I can definitely meet or beat these numbers. Do you want to see how this works? You've got your direct offer on screen. This is how we do it. And the demo deck is quite simple, right? It's just like 4 demos and the rest is objection handling, right?
Right.
Have you ever had somebody got to the end and you're like, when do you want your results to start? And they're just like so super angry. Oh my God, how could you say it costs money? They're not like that. They're like, yeah, this costs money. We get it, right?
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing I get is people are saying, I can't afford that. And then my downsell is pay per lead.
Yeah. And then you do like, great, the way pay per lead works is an upfront fee and then $30, $50, $60 per spot or something like that.
Yeah. If you can't afford 2,400, can you afford 350?
Yeah.
Fine.
And that downsell, by the way, that's only because they don't have the cash for this. You're not being a bad salesperson and then covering up with a downsell, right?
Right.
You're being a great salesperson and they want this, but they ain't got the cash and you've got an alternative program, right?
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because they're not going to run the ads themselves. So doing a setup or a done with you service is not going to work.
Right.
But the beauty is I'm getting to the point where the people I'm doing demos with have a team. They have, it's 3 guys with 3 trucks or, an office with 5 guys working out of trucks. I mean, it's not a guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely
fantastic. If there's one thing that somebody who's having less success or struggling or like is stuck or is fearful or whatever it is, like if there's like one thing that you could tell them, like, go do this, what would that one thing be?
I would say run ads. Choose something and run ads. I mean, I blew money on ads during the lockdown, trying other things just to try to get some cash flow. None of that shit worked. Running ads by the niche, run ads.
Yep.
I mean, my ROI is astounding, and I never thought about that. And the one I've hit 5,000 a couple of months. I couldn't sustain it because of my customer base.
Yeah.
And I was always worried about trying to get back up there, not being able to. And these last 2 months, I'm not worried about it. I know I can choose a new niche. I can do this again. But I've got so much traction in this niche in such a market. Like I said, last night I topped 10,000 for June, and I've still got 12 days to go. So, yeah.
That's so cool. That's so damn cool.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gents, if everybody's watching, if there's any questions, now's the time. Marilyn will stay on board for like 4 or 5 minutes, see if there's any questions or something like that. But damn, it's been pretty cool. Like I've been secretly rooting for you for a long time. Because like, I know like you just keep getting hit again and again and again. And now it's like, the difference is like all you did was study for a weekend, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, this could work. Run some ads with a direct offer, which is like, I'm sure it's like 80, 90% of like, do you want 20, 30 customer opportunities or customers, right?
Yep.
If so, click here. That's it. You're doing the ads to your audience. You're introducing a new ad every week, just like everybody else. Meme ads didn't work for you. Meme ads worked for me, but who the hell cares? You're doing a new ad every week. You're doing ALT stuff coming up soon. Soap opera sequence that pre-conquers objections, the asshole text, the onboarding, the qual call, the entire process, right?
Exactly.
And because of it, you're getting dollars out of it.
Yeah, and I'm not willing to fail. So I see from the industry that, like I said, I cocooned until July to this one, how absolutely fast it worked. So if this one stops working, I'll pick another one.
Yep. Very, very cool. We've got a couple questions about your pay per lead setup. Mm-hmm. How do you get paid for the pay per lead model for each lead? Like, is there an automation that like as soon as it sends it, like can you help us understand that?
Yeah, so I use lead form ads on the Facebook page, and then High Level has a new trigger that came out a few weeks ago that's called a one-time strike payment.
Mm-hmm.
So I set up an account so that a trigger happens when someone fills out this, the Facebook lead form. It will trigger creating an opportunity, texting the, obviously getting the information to the client, and the last step of the trigger is a one-time strike payment for our agreed upon price. So they pay me the setup fee, and then every single time a lead comes in, it hits the credit card.
So now you're flipping Facebook leads for X dollars.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's
so
cool.
And in the end, and even with the setup fee being $350, and if I get 60, 55 is the cheapest I'll go. Yeah. And I've only done one of those, and I won't go that low again. But if I do 60 to 150 bucks, I make loads more money than if I charge them 2,400. Just put it in an Excel spreadsheet, work the numbers.
Yeah.
Assume a $900 ad spend and look at the numbers. If it doesn't make you happy, I don't know what would make you happy.
So that means that somebody can be like, hey, Marilyn, I want to spend, let's just say $2,000 with you, make the math easy. But I ain't got $2,000, but I got 500. You've got a downsell. And your downsell is like, you're going to give me $500. We're going to set this up. And then every time we send you a lead, we're going to charge you, let's just say $50, right?
Yep.
Those numbers work pretty well. You know that you can generate leads on Facebook for $10, making up numbers from $10 into $50. They just get charged on their credit card every time they get a lead. And then your normal perfect agency follow-up kicks in, where you're sending a soap opera sequence and like callbacks, like normal stuff, right?
Yep. They get the same high level setup as if they were paying me monthly.
Beautiful.
So and I sell that with like, okay, the perfect follow-up is, that's the beauty of our system, so that it takes the weight off of you. So you're going to get all of that anyway, but you're going to pay me per lead.
Yeah.
So instead of guaranteeing 30 and getting them 50, he pays for 50 if we get 50.
So does that mean that they're like agreeing to 50, or is it just
however many comes in?
I love it. Absolutely fantastic. Do you ever get like a client saying like, hey, we've got too many leads, we want to pause the pay per lead, or anything like that? Or that's just that's just the nature of the industry? Has that come up at all, or not so much?
It's too early in my journey of PPL to know that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping not. I mean, the first guy that I just onboarded today, he's like, I don't think I'll ever get to the point where I have too many leads, so you just keep them coming.
Beautiful. What's so interesting, like with High Level, is that the pay per lead model used to be pretty complicated. You have to do all the stuff and have like a whole like $300 a month software to send the phone calls and then charge, and like after the fact, it was like a whole shit show. And now, from what I understand, you can just do it for less than 2 or 3 hours. You can set it up, and then it becomes copy and paste. You just set up a new trigger, set up a one-time payment, and every single time you send them a lead, it's $50 in your bank account, which means your text messages are paying you money. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, with the one-time strike payment and High Level, it's a no-brainer. I mean, seriously, I'm thinking to myself, okay, the numbers didn't work out for me before. So I just set up a spreadsheet and I just laid it out, and I'm like, oh yeah, this works. And I pick my minimum number, because if I want to outsource this and have my white labeler do it, but still do it through my High Level so I get the money, I need to have that chunk available, and it works out either way.
Beautiful. Do you foresee you taking this type of model or way of working, or this process, whatever you're doing now, and just keep doubling down and getting more clients, getting more clients, getting more clients? Or do you feel comfortable at this number where you're at and just want to keep it this way?
No, I'd like to get to the point where I've got 25 to 30. I mean, if I've got a white labeler that's good and it's handling it, that's delivering, my goal is to get up to 25 to 30 clients, because I can handle talking to the clients. I get a good rapport with them right away, and so I'm continuing to grow as long as I've got a white labeler that can fulfill for me.
So cool. Marilyn, well done. I think that's the end of this star student interview. I'm not sure what we're calling this, right? But you've been in the ICU for a while. I've gone through a lot of transformations, a lot of transitions. From what I recall correctly, the number one thing that you did is simply like understand the client's lingo, run some ads, figure out an industry that's growing, get out in front of those clients, and just start doing qual calls and demos. The first 5 are going to suck. After that, you'll figure it out. If your brain is saying there's no possible way you can increase your fee, I get it. Just do it $100 at a time. You're good. You started getting feedback from people saying like, look, we really want to do pay per lead. And what you didn't do was be a bad salesperson and then move to pay per lead. You're a great salesperson shooting for your normal fee. And then they couldn't afford you. Got a pay per lead model where honestly you make the same amount of money, but what is it, like different name, tomato, whatever the hell, right?
Yeah, and it's just a lower cost per entry for them. And if they don't have the cash, for 2,400 to start, fine. I make the same amount of money. You just pay it a little bit at a time.
Yeah. Very cool. Is there anything else you'd like to go over today, or do you think we're good for now?
I think we're good for now.
Very cool. I'm gonna stop the live. Don't hang up. We're gonna debrief for a bit.
Okay.
Marilyn Jenkins, well done. Everyone, see you later. Bye.